Alright guys, welcome back to another video here on the Last GameBoard. And the game we're taking a look at today is Texas Holdem. As you guys can see here, Texas Holdem is another game that's created by the Last GameBoard, as shown here by the publisher. This is obviously uniquely made for the game board. It plays 1 to 8 players, so 8 players is the most amount of people that can play on the game board right now, and this one uses all those capabilities. And I wanted to show you guys obviously, Texas Holdem in itself is a easy game. It's not like a crazy board game with a million different rules, but there are some unique things that you could do with the Last Game Board that kind of make it a little bit fun to play when you're carrying this around. There's always those people out there that are like, well, why would I play Texas Holdem on a device like this when I can just grab a deck of cards and bring that to my friend's house? And there's two answers to that. One, if the digital versions does some cool things, like some of the things I'm going to show you here and talk about some of the future things they can do, there is a reason for it to exist. But on top of that, the second reason would be just the fact that you're not buying a Last Game Board because it has Texas Holdem on it. That would be insane. You wouldn't buy an $800 product to buy Texas Holdem only. But the idea is that the Last Game Board is exactly what the title means. It is the last game board that you actually need to own because it stores all of your games on it. So sure, Texas Holdem is just a pack of cards, but now when you go to a family or friend's house and you want to bring board games with you, the idea is you just bring this. You have all these different board games, whether it's strategy games, party games, card games, all of it, and you can all gather around the table and play games like this. So you don't need to worry about bringing dominoes or dice or cards or different board games and stuff because they're all entailed into one device. So yes, Texas Holdem in itself isn't going to sell you on the Last Game Board, of course, but it is a cool one to have, and it just adds to their library of all these games that you could bring to your family and friend's house really easily, on top of the unique features we're going to talk about in this video. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a brekkie is the gaming tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are at the main menu of Texas Holdem, as you can see here. Now, you can see that you can select your buy-in over here, so you can do 3,000, 2,000, 4,000, whatever you want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and scroll to just 2,000 for the time being. Now, we haven't really talked too much about these in the prior videos because for the most part they weren't needed too heavily, but this is a game that definitely relies on host drawers. So we talked about drawers being like something that you can actually use here to basically log in, keep track of your stats, so it knows where the player is sitting depending on who's playing and stuff like that. So this game obviously needs that, and this can play up to 8 players. Remember, I'm not going to do all 8 right here, but I'm going to show you 3. So I got one drawer created right here. Now you can go ahead and log into the companion app, or for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and tap the QR code and just do that. Log into here. You can log in another player. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to double click over here. Go ahead and log in another player, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. So one player is going to sit there, one person there, one person there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And now you can see we have 3 players across the table that are playing. You got this person right here, this person right here, this person right here. It says activate more players. So it's telling you to activate players to essentially ready up in the game. Now, why it says companion app is not currently supported is because right now, the way that you hide cards is actually a pretty unique feature, which I'm going to show you guys here in a minute, which requires no iPhone app at all. If you don't want to use the app, you can just play it right on here. But it looks like the companion app is currently not supported, but something that they plan on doing where you can actually have the cards on your phones, like I've showed you, like I've talked about in the video of what you could do. We'll show more gameplay of games that do that later on, because there are some. But this game does something unique that I think is really cool. But it is nice to have both options. So hopefully what that means there is that the companion app is coming eventually to be able to hide your cards, but the way that this game does it is still pretty unique. So you can see here, you just slide up to ready up, bring your poker chips up, and then you go ahead and see the deal button. Go ahead and deal. Now, as you can see here, the first person here is the first person to go. Since I can't actually see their cards right now because it's a little awkward on that side for me to show you, I'll do it on this side. But for now, what's really cool is that you kind of just throw your chips into the center. I know that that's a little simple thing, but simple things add to larger things depending on how many simple things you have in a game. So I just like the feel of like almost like you're throwing the chips into the center of the table, kind of like you would if you were playing poker. So cool thing to have that in there. And then, of course, it's my turn here. So what this game does that's unique is it actually lets you look at your cards, since there's no companion app update yet to see your cards on an iPhone app like some of the other games have. What it basically lets you do is you actually take your hand and you kind of do it like in a crescent moon kind of shape, and you put it over the cards like this. As you can see, it's actually letting you look at your cards, so you can see I have a king and a queen right there. So I can go ahead and now know that I have a king and queen in my hand. Of course, this person's going here, so we're just going to go ahead and throw their chips there. But now you can see how you can actually look at your cards. It's really cool. You can kind of just do one of these and look at your cards whenever you want. You can do that over here, and I can see what the other player wants to do. Of course, you could do it at the same time. I can see he has a king and a 3. I know it's hard for you guys to see on camera. I can see this guy over here. He has a 4 and a 5. So you can kind of do that to obviously look at your cards without other players knowing. So it's really cool that you can do that. And then, of course, what's really cool is that if you're ready to kind of go forward, you can see it's this person's turn here. You can go ahead and just knock on the table like you would. You can hear the knocking noise. So those are just cool elements that I think are really cool because it's exactly how you would play poker. So how do you think you knock? You just knock. Or do you want to bet more? Put a 10 in there. You can take a chip and put a 10 in there. You want to take it back? Take it back. You want to just knock on the table? Cool. Next person goes. And this person does the same thing. Say he wants to put a 10 out. He just takes a chip, throws it at the center of the table. Now, of course, this person needs to put 10. This person needs to put 10. Now the next one comes in. And then it's another 10. Now, your choice. Knock. Let's say this person here wants to fold for whatever reason, and he doesn't want to play anymore because he doesn't think he can. So, how do you fold in real life? You throw your cards at the center of the table, right? Well, how do you do it in this game? Throw the cards forward. Now you're folded. So, really, really cool. So, we're going to go ahead and knock. And then the next card goes up there. We're just going to go ahead and knock all the way through. And what's really cool is when your actual hand actually wins here, how do you pick up the chips at the center of the table when you're playing, Texas Holdem in real life? Well, you obviously grab the chips, right? Well, grab the chips and throw them at yourself. That's how you grab the chips. So I know that those don't seem like a big deal, but these nuances, these little quirks that they add into the game make it feel like you're really playing Texas Holdem. The knocking that you're doing, the swiping, the way you fold, it's all natural to the way the game is actually played in real life, which I think is really cool and adds more of appeal to a game like this. And then after each round, it asks you if you want to continue with you can bow out if you want by just taking your chip out, or you can leave it exactly the way it is and deal by just kind of throwing forward to deal the cards. And you do the exact same thing again, and you play some rounds until you see, who gets the most money and who's going to end up striking out first. So what I would like to see in this game, of course, is online play. I think that would add a lot of fun, and I think that that's something that they're working towards, to add an online lobby system, because the first game that we haven't talked about yet already added an online lobby system, which is chess, which is really cool, and it's an internal developed thing, so they plan on bringing that to their other games that they developed as well, not just in chess. So obviously, I would assume Texas Holdem is definitely up for the task to be able to do that, to be able to play with 8 players around the world. So that's another reason of adding games like this, that yeah, you can play with a simple deck of cards, but now you can play online with folks and kind of play Texas Holdem anytime you want. Or you have all these little quirks and stuff, like I said, that you can actually make it feel like you're really playing Texas Holdem with the way that you fold, throw chips, and kind of knock down. All cool stuff that makes use of the table that I really, really like. And, of course, the fact that you can play 8 players all around the table. So, guys, that is an overview of what Texas Holdem is like on the Last GameBoard. I think it's a really fun addition that came from them, and I can't wait to see them add online play so I can play this game even more. But it's definitely a cool game to show off what the technology can do because of the way you look at your hand, and all of those different nuances that I talked about on knocking on the table and just bringing chips to you is a really cool way to do things. And I can't wait till they add online play and also the companion app. For those of you who don't want to do this because there's a lot of people around the table, the companion app would be an option that you can use to hide your cards instead, that you kind of have in front of you on a phone, and then you kind of throw the cards in front of it. And they do have that for other games already that we're going to be showing off in the coming weeks, but can't wait for that to come to Texas Holdem as well, because it seems like that's what they're planning on doing. So, guys, if you guys have any questions about what you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.